These Asians were brought by British here to Uganda.
I am the only black leader who is very tough and very strong in the world today. If you take a decision now and remove the whole non-citizens who are being milking the economy of Uganda, this is the only chance Uganda will get. You must take immediate actions. I left the place without breakfast and I went and declared economic war. And it is true. Today the people in Uganda are enjoying. This is the truth.
Yes, hello guys, I do welcome you back at my YouTube channel. It's me, your boy Robert. So guys, today I'm back with another beautiful video. I'm going to look at one guy that ruled Uganda for at least 9 years. Is one of the Ugandan president and is one of the most prominent president that ruled the country for at least 9 years. But he did a lot of things that the country is still moving on. Like his contribution is what is taking Uganda to the whole world until date. Like, I mean, whatever that Uganda is possessing today is because of this guy. So this is none other than Dr. Idi Amin Dada. So I know most of you know him in another capacity, but I'm here to sub-reverse everything that you know about Idi Amin Dada. Yes, so for those that are new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to click the notification button so that you don't miss out the new videos that I'll be uploading. So I make a lot of vlogs, I make a lot of videos about history and lots of the things that I believe you need to know. So guys, don't forget, let's begin. Yes, so guys, we are looking at a man who is believed to be the notorious one. Most of the people call him a dictator, but he's the only Ugandan president that ruled the country and made it what it is until late. Because most of the structures that we see in Uganda were built and constructed in his regime. And imagine, he only ruled Uganda for at least 9 years. We believe, and we all do believe, that Idi Amin Dada ruled the country and put it where it was supposed to be in his time. So Idi Amin Dada was born on August 30th, 1928 in Nakasero at the capital city, Kampala. It's said to be that Idi Amin's father was a Kakwa and the mother was from the Lugbara tribe. Both are Ugandans. In the year 1946, Idi Amin Dada joined the army, which was under the King's African Rifle, the KAR of the British Colonial Army during that time. Idi Amin Dada did not attend any high institute of education, although he had greater knowledge about leadership skills. During his time in the army, he rose to the rank of a lieutenant, taking part of the British actions against the Somali rebels and the Mau Mau in Kenya in 1952 and 1956. So you can see that Amin was partly more efficient in the army, that he grew. He spent most of his time, most of his childhood in the army, that he joined the army in 1946.
I have only come here for 5 minutes. I have come as a president of the Republic of Uganda, and also I am speaking as a great man who is the conqueror of the British Empire. I have liberated my country economically, and I am economically strong, and that is why I said I uprooted the British imperialism from Uganda, and Uganda is now pure Africa.
Idi Amin Dada was the most decorated soldier of all times during the days, and he used to call himself all sorts of names that led to create fear amongst the surrounding territories by then. So I know most of you have heard about these names that Idi Amin Dada used to call himself, and a few that I will give you now are these: His Excellency the President for Life, Field Marshal Alhaji Dr. Idi Amin Dada, VC, DSO, MC, God of all beasts on the earth and the fishes of the sea, conqueror of the British Empire in Africa. President Idi Amin Dada claimed to have joined the King's Rifle Army as a cook in 1946, although he used to say that he fought during the World War II in 1939. And yet his service records say that he joined the army in the 1946. Idi Amin Dada was one of the few Ugandan soldiers that rose and elevated to officer ranks before Uganda got her independence in 1962. And this is how he associated with the newly elected Prime Minister Dr. Milton Obote, and later he was made the chief of the Air Force in 1966 until 1970. So this created space. When Amin joined the army, he created space for himself that used to meet all these leaders by then, and that was Dr. Milton Obote and Sir Edward Mutesa, who was the president and who was the first Ugandan president by then. So we say that Uganda is one of the countries that have never changed power or change of president by vote. This means that Uganda never, or they have never had any successful vote where the people have to choose who they want to be their president even until date. So this drives us back in the years of Dr. Milton Obote and Sir Edward Mutesa, who was the president at the same time, the king of Uganda by then. Yeah, Sir Edward Mutesa was the first Ugandan president that led Uganda not even less than 3 years, and he was overthrown through a coup of his prime minister, who was Dr. Milton Obote by then, where Obote went and ordered the army to go and attack his kingdom, and the Kabaka was later forced to vacate and to go to exile through Kenya, and then later he went to England or Britain by then. So you see that after Obote overthrowing the Kabaka from his role of being a president, he was also later overthrown by his chief of staff, who was by then Dr. Idi Amin Dada. So you see that on the 25th of January 1971, Idi Amin staged up a coup using his military and overthrew the government that was led by Dr. Milton Obote, and he became the president and the chief of the armed forces in Uganda. In 1975, he named himself the field marshal, and in 1976, he called himself the life presidency of Uganda. That Amin ruled Uganda directly, shunning the delegation of power, as he was known for his trumped charges of moods. You know, if you can remember, in 1972, he expelled all Asians from Uganda in a period that he gave to them, which was in 90 days. Let's say those were 3 months. By 3 months, this action led to the breakdown of Uganda's economy, whereby all the businesses that were owned by Indians, and Indians were the most prominent business people in Uganda by then. So when they were told to leave the country or to vacate the country within 90 days, the economy of Uganda went into a breakdown, whereby the Ugandans that took over this business were non-skilled, and they didn't even have any knowledge about businesses, let's say the factories and wholesale businesses that were in present by then. So he was such a strong leader that he even insulted the Great Britain and the United States and other big leaders amongst different countries. So Idi Amin Dada participated in the hijacking of a French airliner to Entebbe in 1976. And this forced the Israel to attack Entebbe airport to rescue its citizens during that time. And when you look into history, a lot of people died through this incident, because there was a lot of gunfire exchange at the airport, whereby the Israel army came and through Kenya and then to Entebbe to rescue their people that were hijacked in the plane by then. In the year 1978, Amin ordered an attack on Tanzania through its borders, and Tanzanian troops eventually overpowered the Ugandan army. Yeah, I have told you that Uganda is one of the countries in Africa that have never changed power through the vote. This doesn't mean that Ugandans do not vote. Yes, they do vote, but the governments never respect the vote, or will never respect the decisions being made by its citizenship. I know most of you are asking, or would like to know, how Amin left power, since he was so strong and he was fierce, or he was being feared by most of the African countries by then. So when we look at in 1979, Amin fled the country after attacking Tanzania, and the Tanzania troops overpowered his troops, which were the Ugandan soldiers. Amin fled the country, and his government was overthrown. He was succeeded by President Yusuf Lule, and after 2 days, Amin escaped to Libya, to his friend, who was Gaddafi, who was the president of Libya by then. And then finally, he settled in Saudi Arabia, where he eventually died. Dr. Idi Amin Dada as the president and the chief of the armed forces in Uganda. And all that history tells us, all gives us, is a negative side of his story, which portrays a bad image of history when it comes to the Ugandan history and the books and whatever that is written about Idi Amin Dada. Yeah, this doesn't mean that Amin Dada, as the president of Uganda, was a bad leader. So in the year 1969, news began to filter in that the exiled king of Uganda, the Sir Kabaka Edward Mutesa, as well as the first Ugandan president after independence, had passed on in London. It was believed that the king was poisoned by the former president, who was by then Dr. Milton Obote, who was overthrown by Amin. Desa was temporarily buried at the Kensal Cemetery in London. When Amin took over power in 1971 as the Ugandan new president, though he took over power by coup, he immediately ordered the return of the king's remains into the country for burial. On the 16th of August 2003, news went viral that the former president of Uganda, Dr. Idi Amin, was dead in Saudi Arabia, where he had sought refuge after being overthrown from power. It's believed that he died at the age of 80 years. He led Uganda, or he led the country from 1971 to 1979. So he led the country for at least 9 years. So guys, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. This is your boy Robert, and I love you so much.